Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session on revolutionizing customer journeys from acquisition to loyalty. Today, businesses must look at marketing from the lens of customer experience. Most marketers focus on acquiring new customer, but in today's competitive landscape, we are witnessing that the cost of acquisition is climbing at an alarming rate. By enhancing the customer experience during the customer engagement, businesses have been able to unlock growth counterintuitively by increasing customer loyalty. So, joining us today are two technology leaders from Locobuzz who have demonstrated a track record of enabling businesses to improve their customer experience, redefine their marketing, and achieve their goals. I now welcome Mr. Vishal Agarwal, co-founder and CEO Locobuzz. Welcome, Vishal.
Hi, everyone. Happy to be here.
Glad you could make it, Vishal. Thanks for joining. My next guest for the day is Mr. Vijay Vittal, Lead Product Innovation, Locobuzz. Welcome, Vijay.
So, happy to be here. Looking
Thank
forward
you.
to the session.
Thank you. Thank you, Vishal and Vittal, for joining. So, this is Devesh Gupta, your host for the day, and I'll be taking this session forward. I'll start with, a basic question first. Please tell a little bit about yourselves and Locobuzz, including its purpose and, how it has been helping brands for attendees, who may not be familiar with the company.
Sure. Hi, my name is Vishal Agarwal. I'm one of the co-founders of Locobuzz. I'm the CEO of the company and look at strategy and overall strategy for the organization. Locobuzz is a global software giant now. We're specializing in digital customer experience management. We enable brands to create, not only create and design, robust omni-channel CX strategy, but help them execute it, automate and manage workflows. And the idea is to provide great experiences across all customer-facing functions. We always believe in leveraging technology to help enhance business goals. The idea with Locobuzz is to leverage technologies such as AI, analytics, big data, and automation to help you increase the lifetime value of your customers. We've worked with over 200 companies now in India and overseas, and we are very proud to be working with some of the leading Fortune 500 companies to some of the most exciting startups you see in the country, whether it is telecom, whether it is FMCG, hospitality, aviation, automobile, BFSI. We are working with some of the best companies out there, companies who are truly customer-centric.
Vijay, you
Hi.
want to go ahead?
Yes. So, hi, I'm Vijay Vittal. I'm a product manager here. So I lead product innovation to help our customers to take maximum out of the channels that they operate with. And it's my passion to give them all the capabilities that they need to have a meaningful relationship with their customers.
Great. And we'll delve a little deeper on, how you are creating those meaningful relationships, for brands with the customers, just in a little while. Vishal, I'll start with you first. Today digital platforms are more like the windows for customers, where they kind of interact with brands. So what is the value that, CX can create in the marketing sphere? And if, I would really want you to explain it with some examples so that, it's easier for the audiences, to understand.
Sure. One of my favorite things to say is in this day and age, your CX strategy becomes your single largest USP, if you will. So we have customers talking about the brands, their experiences on various channels, whether it is, social media, whether it is messaging apps, whether it is email, voice, and whatnot. And it's, no longer an option for the brands to look at these conversations and, feedback in different silos. So when you think about it, typically traditionally we have had the marketing guys, we have had the CX guys or the customer service guys, and then you have the analytics, which is an overlay. And now in this connected world, your CX strategy first starts with bringing all of them together, because the kind of values you can unlock is quite immense. I mean, the kind of data which is there is mind-blowing. I mean, forget about automobiles and banks and all, which is like a gold mine. I mean, we recently worked with a small company which was about to launch a lipstick. The kind of data which we were able to unearth for them, they were able to figure out which texture, which shade, what ingredients people like and what is more important to people. Is it the long lastingness, or is it the the taste of how it feels, things like that. So the wealth of information which is available, the technology which is available to connect and engage, to understand this feedback, is where the value resides. And Locobuzz is a platform which sort of unifies these functions together very beautifully and helps you unlock this value.
This is very interesting, Vishal, because, CX, and in my past discussion also, what I've understood that, it can unlock a treasure trove of information for brands and marketers, to understand. It can, as you rightly mentioned, banks, autos, they already have immense amount of data. It's only thing that they need to organize and, kind of deep dive into it. But for the other brands also, it can open a lot of insights for them, which helps in launching new products, maybe campaigns, or, maybe customer solutions, what the immense possibilities are there. So what are some of the problems, because you have been working with a lot of industries, brands across industries. What are some of the common problems when it comes to marketers, that they have been grappling with in terms of marketing?
I think one of the lowest common denominator, or the biggest problem, or the most common challenge we hear, is how do we unify the customer view across all digital channels? How do we get one view of the customer across all the digital channels? And that has been, in my experience, the most exciting opportunity, and and in a way, one of the biggest challenges in front of the marketers. And beyond that, people still grapple with insights and intelligence, which can be mapped into business functions. So, one thing is to understand reach, impressions, and engagement and whatnot. The other thing is to understand what is driving that. Why am I getting a positive engagement? Why am I getting a negative? Is it my service? Is it a certain feature? Is it a certain competition which is doing a one-up? So understanding of not only the consumer behavior, but the consumer journey. A lot of times something starts great, doesn't end very well. Sometimes it starts very, not so exciting, but, you build a very strong relationship with customers. So understanding consumer journey, understanding consumer behavior becomes extremely important. We've also seen challenges when it comes to scale. So, for example, one of our customers overseas processes around 25 to 30 million conversations in a month. It's insanely huge. So, to have systems which can integrate with various touch points in a very seamless manner and provide us, a scalable solution with personalization can also be a challenge we see marketers struggle with.
Interesting. Vijay, now coming to you, Vishal has highlighted, some very interesting challenges, of unifying the data together, how you need to deep dive into data. So when you were designing the product at Locobuzz, and so how did you, maneuver it, to solve all these problems and, create that responsible marketing and enable that responsible marketing for the brands?
Sure. So yes, Vishal highlighted about right. There's so much data available, and it's our mission to kind of make it available in a very actionable way. So we took a two-pronged approach. Right. Okay. First is to leverage analytics in a manner that it is very, very convenient for everybody to access. It is our mission to democratize insights. Right. And then when we look at analytics, right, it's not one size fits all, right? So it is always going to be, my view versus my other colleagues' view on their challenges and the way they want to look at their data, right? So we made that possible from our analytics platform, right? And then we are also looking at different channels that we connect with, and each of them have varied level of access, and the kind of data that they give is a little different from one another. And to kind of accommodate that, we have built a platform which kind of helps you to augment a lot of data points so that you get richer data out of it. And then the second approach that we have is our product design, right? We want to make it easy for the marketers to use our product, because when they use our product, it is already feature rich, so that we want to make it very feature rich, because we want to pack in as many features that they want to use so that they get value out of it on an everyday usage basis. Right. And we received a lot of feedback from our customers on our user friendliness, and it is comparable to a lot of global players today. And we kept this feedback in mind, and we've developed a product. We've packed it with a lot of features that can be used very well. And we've also introduced product tours and things like that that can help them navigate the systems better. And as we introduce new features that we do quite often now, they are able to adopt to it and leverage the platform in the way that is designed to do. And the other thing I also want to talk about is marketing is a game of art, but with digital marketing coming to the foreground, it's also becoming a game of science. Now, how can we introduce that angle to it? Now, the analytics-led campaign execution, right, becomes a great capability for marketers to understand what kind of content is working, what kind of channels and time of the day to run that is working. And we're able to also, while using it, our customers are learning about the competitive landscape so that they can sharpen their strategies and like get ahead of their competition and win the customer.
Very interesting, very interesting, Vijay. On that point, Vishal, coming to you, Vijay mentioned about, how, he's, putting all the features together, into the product, so that it can enable the brand. But when we look at today, the consumer requirements and how brands are trying to engage with the consumers, they are kind of interacting with them, across multiple digital touch points, and as Vijay rightly mentioned that, digital marketing and, interacting with the consumer on the digital medium is not about hard, but it's about a game of science. It's about, it's very scientific. You need to have that, logic ready with you and how you're going to do this. So when these interactions are going on and when they are trying to interact, through multiple touch points, is it effective or is it kind of turning the customer off? Because on a lot of occasions, I have, heard and I have kind of understood it from the marketers that, too much of interactions across digital channels is kind of creating a broken funnel. What's your thought on it?
So, very interesting question. The first thought which came to my mind is, too much of what, right? Too much of I love yous never hurt, right? Too much of, annoying conversations irritate you. I think what's been sort of frustrating and been a huge issue, especially when it comes to social media and all of these things is, I'll tell you the most famous Instagram story, which we always share, right? We're sitting and we're talking about taking a vacation to Goa, and suddenly a friend says, hey, guess what? I'm seeing ads for Goa. And we're like, are they listening to our conversations? So I think sometimes, excitement around technology and ability to identify something and show them a personalized ad, we overdo it, we overkill it, right? So frequency, right? You look at two t-shirts and they chase you till death till you buy them. Those things sort of can be frustrating to keep seeing the same thing again and again on different touch points, right? Second thing which sort of is frustrating is why the brands are so hell-bent on that sale and their frequency of advertisement is so high. How come their customer engagement is so poor then? So that is how a user addresses. And we have had so many conversations with brands where the brands were doing a fantastic job hearing people on social media and then going offline and closing it and not doing anything online. And we would tell them, but the customer who's coming, not the same one, the different one is seeing that somebody said something to you, did not even bother to reply. And they're like, no, but we solved the problem. But you have not closed it on the platform it happened. So the perception is extremely important. How you handle query. Are you only looking at people who are verified handles and you respond only to them, or you respond to everybody? So things like these are extremely important, to sort of win back that trust. And then sometimes brand have a very inauthentic engagement, right? So brands sometimes want to be, cool. It's like a half-hearted, something comes back. And, I was thinking of bringing this anecdote later, right? Like this Ajji incident happened with Starbucks. I'm sure you must have heard of this, right? Where Starbucks came back with the filter coffee ad and somebody said, no Ajji on this God's green earth is ever going to be excited about a $290, filter coffee. If I was Starbucks, while I'm doing moment marketing, I would go ahead and say, you are bang on, you're so right. Next time you are with your Ajji in my Starbucks coffee shop, guess what? The filter coffee is on us. It would not have cost anything to, Starbucks, but this witty comeback
Yeah.
Makes you more authentic, makes you more personable. So sometimes brands are, half-heartedly committing to being on social, not really being social. So that doesn't work out, right? So these are the few things which put customer off. I think the way to get over it is to measure engagement in a very granular level, understand what is resonating with people, right? In this case of Aji, I can guarantee you the impressions the person's remark got was much larger than the impressions or reach the ad got. Yeah. So not leveraging that is a missed opportunity, right? But true. It is still out there. It is not being leveraged. And I would have gone, if I don't know the business, I would have gone to all the Ajis, you come over to Starbucks with us, it's on us. This month is Aji month. There you go, you become more personable. But so, you need to be able to understand why somebody is sharing something. You need to be able to measure, your strategy and how is it working, not working, right? And identify your audience, fan base in a more detailed manner, and then you'll be able to get more detailed insights around the performance and the marketing outreach efforts you do, right? And then you can possibly do revenue attribution using that as well.
Very interesting, Vishal. So Vijay, how are you solving this, challenge of the broken funnel, through the product?
Fundamentally, we bring all the digital touch points under one platform, under one code base, right? Mm-hmm. This automatically enables the brands to have a meaningful two-way communication. And you can do it at scale because you're now assisted by automation, right? While you do that, you're also measuring all the impact, right, of all your marketing objectives. Multiple touch points, you have directed marketing objectives and execution. Everything is measured under one product and one platform. So you're able to understand, are there connections, intricacies that you can leverage? Like Vishal mentioned that they could actually offer, you can actually use that moment to make an offer to all the Ajis. You could do that and also make a revenue attribution because of that. You can connect with the users and things like that, right? That is one thing. Now, second thing is reducing the time to insight because it is a overlay capability that we have across all functions, also across all channels. You're able to now analyze with a lot of ease that accelerates the information flow right from the analyst or a marketing manager and right through the top to the CEO, CMO, so that they can take directive actions that can really change the course of their brand story and really win customers while doing that.
No, totally. I believe, Starbucks would have got the first-hand data of so many Ajis, in the state, and, people who would have come along with them, that it would be really great for their CRM systems, imagine a brand like Starbucks, they could have reached out and create that. A brand that thrives on community and loyalty, could have done so much with that. And that's the core principle at the end of the day of creating that great customer experience, about which we are talking. So coming on, that point, many clients are already using existing CRM and other technology systems to enhance their marketing. So, Vishal, can Locobuzz suite, CX suite easily integrate with these systems and add value?
Oh, absolutely. Not only we can, we have, whether it is SAP, whether it is Sibyl, whether it is Oracle, whether it is Dynamics, SFDC, we have live integrations of mid-size and large scale already in the works. Social data provides a lot of wealth of information, right? And your CRM also has a lot of interesting information. Marrying the two together sort of becomes, very logical. So whether you call yourselves as a CRM or a CDP platform, whichever way you are leaning, Locobuzz will always be a very important channel or source of truth into your CRM or CDP. The idea is to bring in this behavioral intelligence about the consumer into the system. And it has many advantages, especially when you are looking at from a scope of understanding a consumer, right? CRMs or CDPs traditionally would only help you understand what a consumer does with you. It doesn't give you a view into what a consumer might be doing otherwise. For example, Devesh may be spending, say, 20 room nights in Taj, and Taj may be very happy with that. But if Taj is doing a very detailed analysis and listening on you, they may realize that Devesh is doing 50 room nights in Oberoi, and they may no longer be very happy about that. So how do you bring that intelligence into the system? How do you increase the speed of resolving somebody's problem? A lot of times, a query comes, it is as simple as giving a standard response, but more times or so, than that, you need to actually understand how the consumer has interacted with the business. Is there a pending payment? Is there a pending refund? And get to a tactical response like that. And with an integration, that becomes very, very simple, right? And then it sort of eliminates one of these silos. Suddenly this agent who's looking at a consumer not only can see the left side, but can also see the right side. So you can see what the consumer journey has been on the social media or the messaging channel or the email. However, what the journey has been on the store visit, for example. And putting the two together, one can satisfy the user faster. And rather than sort of, going from an intermediate response, you get a sort of, one-stop solution in a very timely manner. And while doing so, you are augmenting the CRM or the CDP with additional intelligence and information.
So, Vijay, what are some of the tangible insights and results, that this solution has driven for clients? Vishal has, given the operational fundamentals of it, how you are able to marry the information that is coming from the digital touch points and the information which is coming from the physical touch points, and you can marry and you can determine the insights of it. I would like you to elaborate, if possible, on some of the results that you have actually kind of delivered for some of your key clients.
Sure. So our platform, right, the way it focuses to help our marketers is to map the efforts of the social media to the KPIs that they're chasing, right?
Yeah.
Now, that can be very easily measured and reported, automated, and all of that. That itself is driving a lot of value so that they continue to use our platform and leverage our measurement, leverage our execution capability, and so on and so forth. To give you a few anecdotes about a few of the things, a popular automobile brand, right? They've used intelligence out of the social data, right? They're able to understand that they are selling a certain variant, right? And how are they actually one variant is better than another, so that they were able to change their selling strategy because of that. There is wealth of information available on social about automobile. Like here in India, there is a lot of channels, not just social. Locobuzz also, like we also get feed in from discussion forums where auto enthusiasts are talking about certain aspects of not just a car, but its variant as well. So you can kind of label these conversation to a variant of a car variant and things like that. So you are able to rank one against another, and then see with marrying that with CRM, which gives you the transactional data, the counts of the number of variants sold. They were able to change their strategy on how they would sell a particular variant, which has become very, very popular. And we are also seeing certain brands change their imagery and things that they use based on the feedback that they get on that particular post, right? So the feedback could be your engagement in terms of comments. The feedback is also looking at the reach, looking at the impression and the shareability of that particular post. And the likes and other things, right? They were able to identify a certain type of image or certain type of usage of hashtags and things like that perform better, right? Compared to the rest. So those kind of things were like possible due to Locobuzz. And these are
to add to what Vijay is saying, a very interesting recent observation, right? I think it also makes the brand more inclusive. When you have sort of users participating into things, and sometimes, as the brand custodians, we also have, blind spots. One example which comes to my mind is the Kia example. So Kia did this effort of upgrading their logo completely, right? And, I've been a big Kia cheerleader for a while. And I also struggle sometimes to read that it is actually Kia. And then there was somebody attributing that because of the confusion in the name on how the logo appears, there is so much attribution which is lost because people are trying to figure out which brand is that. if you could have, say, 4 logos and you could sort of, have some kind of a, short-term poll and whatnot, you take care of that blind spot, and you certainly become a very participatory, inclusive organization as well. I know there are counter opinions also. People say, no, we are not going to let anybody, everything's a surprise. But I think there are advantages and disadvantages of such colossal changes, because, you have your brand ambassadors, you have your brand loyalists and whatnot. You are not the only one who is passionate about the brand. And sometimes these brand loyalists have a much longer relationship with the brand than the brand custodians with the brand, So it's important to think about that, especially the last part. The brand ambassador and the loyalists probably have been longer with the brand than the current brand ambassador.
True. That's absolutely true. And I think that's case for most of the brands. Brand custodians are younger than the brand loyalists. Yeah. So, marketers are also inclined to invest in technology, Vishal, and only when there is a clear-cut path towards increasing ROI and effectiveness of their campaign strategy. So does looking at end-to-end customer journey lead to a better ROI for marketers, or how does it work?
Oh, absolutely. When you look at a function end to end, you never lose sight of what your business objectives are.
Okay.
When you look at something in a silo, it becomes about that function. For example, if I break down, a business also, say, my job is only to respond to tickets fast, then I'll only be looking at, quickly respond to the ticket. Why do I see patterns in that? Is there a business intelligence as to, hey, suddenly I'm seeing a spike in a certain function? That will be lost on me. My job simply becomes, hey, as soon as a ticket comes, within 30 seconds, I'm responding and closing it. So don't ask me, how many tickets were there yesterday? How many are today? Do I see a pattern? Nothing. So that strategic insight gets lost, right? So if you look at this from a technical perspective, you have this AIDA model, right? The attention, interest, desire, and action. So a unified solution, always stays true to that. You have that big picture in mind always. You are always able to bring all the custodians into the same platform, into the same single source of truth. And somebody who's championing the cause of CX can never lose the sight of customer centricity, and they can really understand how my marketing campaign is creating an impact on my positive sentiment. Is there, as I'm improving my communication and PR, is there an impact on the queries which are coming through? Am I able to mitigate some of the queries like that? So, and even from a customer acquisition perspective, you can measure that how your marketing strategy is generating attention is leading to interest is leading to desire, and desire is leading to a positive action. So all of this can very beautifully be evaluated and measured when you have a unified CX solution. And then it definitely then increases the ROI through targeting, targeted upselling and cross-selling efforts, right?
This is very interesting, Vishal. Would you like to cite an example where, you kind of helped a brand, sort this challenge of looking at the unified part?
Oh, sure. So many interesting anecdotes, right from how the SIM card activation kit was limited in a certain pockets of geography. Mm-hmm. And, through communication, we were able to figure out that, 4 pockets were getting suddenly a surge of negative conversations because of non-availability. Now, that understanding leads to solving that problem rather than looking at as a, post-traumatic analysis after 15, 20 days. That, okay, we got in this month, we got so many more tickets. Oh, this happened. So that connected nature of the business helps you immediately take corrective actions. We have even helped brands, based on recommendations, refine their communication strategy, because we are seeing an uptake and queries around certain aspects of, say, a credit card or a debit card or an account. So which warrants that your communication on, say, NRE account is weak, resulting into so many queries coming in, which can be avoided with a better communication, right? So over the course of many years, we have had some small interventions, some very large interventions happen through. I even remember for a large FMCG account, we had this command center set up, and we'll talk about it a little bit more, I hope, later. So we had this command center set up, and they launched this beautiful campaign. And a night before, the celebrity was involved in some kind of some kind of a national issue, and so no matter what they would put out, it becomes negative because suddenly the people are very upset with that celebrity. So being able to immediately get a sense that, oh my God, my campaign is not going in the direction I want, and take corrective measures in real time makes a huge difference, right? So we've enabled such things. And it's instead of burning your money through and wasting it, you're able to save and course correct, right? So ROI becomes very central to what we do, to all of these things.
So that's a very interesting tool, and that's very interesting technology. Vijay, so how does a brand decide, whether to choose, all-in-one software or a very specialist software?
So specialist software or point solutions, as we call it, right? It is great for you to just just have a start with any activity or any use case that you have, right? But as you scale your operations, the concept of the whole is larger than the sum of its parts becomes true, right?
Okay.
So you get to kind of enjoy the benefits that one platform will give you in terms of looking at a holistic view, and which can orient itself towards the larger business growth. A unified platform like Locobuzz, we help marketers in several ways. First thing, because marketers are the de facto owners of these digital touch points, now they get to manage and streamline the permissions that they can now give it to other teams, right?
Okay.
Now, after that, they are able to use the platform to create and schedule and publish content at times that are optimized for getting the highest engagement possible, right? You are able to track key metrics and also like prescribe analytics to various teams in the organization, right through brand level, right through departmental level, and straight through the C-suite, to give them a holistic view about their business, their PR outlook, and also looking at a competitive benchmarking in a very holistic way, right? They use this product or this platform holistically to also understand and engage with your customers and influencers, and also differentiate your approach towards the same, right? Now, unfortunately, sometimes because in your social space, there can be small issues which can snowball into becoming a crisis. When you have a unified platform, you're able to spot it early on and maybe switch off certain campaigns that you have scheduled it ahead of time, so that you're not falling into something which you would actually like have a bad day in office, like. So it would really help in kind of connecting all of this together. The last thing that I would like to also emphasize is managing user generated content. Your brand stories are best told by your customers, right? And if it's a video content and a very engaging content, it's even better. You can now repurpose it anywhere else upon permission, right? And all of this end to end can be handled by Locobuzz, right? We can identify which is the popular UGC content. You can ask for permission, and then after you get the permission, you can repurpose it in a post. You can repurpose it in a command center wall that is customer facing, or even show it in a point of sale, so that there is a confidence boost for anybody who is walking in to make that purchase or take that next step towards embracing the brand.
No, that's very true. And you're kind of mentioning different facets of digital marketing, which a brand actually can leverage, and how you can help them spot early on if their campaigns are going southwise, right? So Vijay, on this note, today digital marketing has become very cost effective, and a lot of brands are kind of going very fast in building their recall, and creating their larger than life perception with a pure play digital strategy. They're moving, I believe they're moving faster than legacy brands at some point of time. So what is the importance of agility, since you have been working with a lot of brands across industries, especially in the digital space? What is the importance of agility in today's time?
Agility is it's very important, right? Because you are in such a dynamic environment that can change in an hour's time, and all your plans that you had for the entire week may be paused or delayed or you want to take a different route altogether, right? So when you have such kind of a scenario, you need to be agile. Now, we have seen D2C brands have been agile all throughout because they were born digital, right? So they've basically like perfected the art of marketing while being digital, a minimalistic team that can do a lot of functions. And we see that their ability to execute all of that is because they're using the technology to augment their efforts to amplify it further, right? So a traditional brand actually carries a lot of baggage with it, right? There is a lot of team members. There is a hierarchical approval system to put out a newspaper ad, right? And then it's not the same for an agile brand. You can put out a post that can actually like give you about 10x more reach with just maybe half an hour of planning, right? And that's the kind of right power an agile team has today, and it is absolutely imperative for brands to kind of move towards being agile and adopt these kind of
Well, if I have to summarize, Vijay, what you said, in terms of agility can, help prevent you a bad day at office.
So true. And to add to that, I think as consumers, we have always appreciated agility.
Yeah.
The definition of agility is changing. I'm sure all of most of us here, not sure how young people are here, would remember the Amul hoardings. For their time and age, they were very agile. Every week, one of the most exciting things for me to look forward to was what's that change going to be. So every week a new creative, and that was very agile. Now in social media, agility definition has changed. Some brands are doing more than one content a day. So the definition changes, but I think people like that, right? Because something works and something doesn't. And then you have, so much more to do and so much more to discuss with your consumers and sort of delight them at many opportunities.
So Vishal, what are the essential performance indicators that a marketer should measure on a platform like yours, so that, they can employ the platform's capabilities, to improve those metrics?
Sure. So there are many aspects one need to look at, right? So from a marketer perspective, one thing which is very important as, is the reach, impressions, engagement and all of that, video views, tap through Instagram stories based stats and all that. So each platform has their own fantastic set of metrics, right? And each of them can, give you a different signal depending upon the kind of product or the brand you are. So it's very important to understand these bases the platform, right? Certain platforms give this data, certain platforms don't give this data. But somehow we just generalize and assume every platform has this data. So each platform has a very different way of measuring engagement. In fact, that is why I think, a lot of uproar happened when views were inserted in Twitter by Elon Musk and team very recently, I think a week ago or 10 days ago. I think they added views as a metric in every tweet. You can see how many views a tweet has got. So it's important to understand each platform offers its own interesting matrix, and one needs to be very cognizant of that. However, there's certain softer aspects one needs to also understand where technology solutions can help them, is the overall brand sentiment. Right. And when you talk about overall brand sentiment, I quickly sort of, move towards what I call as categorization of these conversations. So platforms can help you automatically categorize the conversation. By category, I mean, are you talking about pricing, packaging? Are you talking about refund? Are you talking about my ad campaign? Are you talking about my brand? Are you talking about my price value? The different ways you can categorize, right? Are you talking about variant A, variant B? Categorizing all these thousands and millions of conversations is a very important step because it helps you understand the context of the conversation. Overlaying that context with sentiment becomes priceless, because then it immediately gives you in which context are you driving positive conversations, in which context are you driving negative conversations. One very interesting parameter I also sort of look at is, in the world of social, especially because we have this wonderful platform called Twitter, and Twitter has tweets and retweets. Sometimes a single retweet can eclipse the entire conversation. So it's very important to understand and have the ability to view unique conversations or unique users vis-a-vis, overall, brand impressions. So sometimes when you look at unique users, your sentiments, your word clouds, your context could be very different than when you look at, overall conversations. In India, particularly, language is also very exciting. Views change based on language. It's kind of really amazing how, you must have heard this, where people say, there are many Indias within India, right? And you might have a very different view when you look at the overall conversation, and a very different view when you say, only show me non-English conversations, right? So that also becomes very interesting. And then one of the most important things, which a lot of brands overlook, for so-called price efficiency, is not doing a detailed competitive benchmarking. Oh, it is so important to have that. It is unbelievably significant to understand what's working, not working for your competition. And I think there's so much wealth of data available. One would be very prudent to not lose out on that and really get a sense of what's happening around you in your competitive landscape.
Before I close the discussion, Vijay, I want to ask one question to you. And Vishal, kind of touched upon that subject, on benchmarking the competition and looking at the price point. So how can organizations effectively use benchmarking, industry and market intelligence to gain a competitive advantage and stay ahead of industry trends in the marketplace?
Sure. So competitive intelligence, like the way we term it, right? It enables you to uncover competitive marketing strategies and that they are employing to win in the same market that you operate with, right? Organizations have a various use cases that they can unlock when they do a competitive benchmarking and market intelligence, listening and things like that, right? So first thing is identify the best practices. Maybe they have cracked it. You can really use that similar strategy to also get that benefit from there, or also not do some of the failures that they have had, right? You are also looking at performance benchmarking because you're playing to the same audience, right? So that you can benchmark your performance, because sometimes in social media, sometimes you are able to get engagements that are 10x, 15x the usual. You want to see, is it the same when the competition also puts out similar content? So those kind of understanding is somebody can actually derive out of it. You can identify market opportunities and market dynamics of, are there new entrants coming in, right? Are there new way of usage of the same product that you can now leverage? The Locobuzz provides you a wealth of information by tapping into sources like reviews, right? E-commerce reviews is an eye-opener for a lot of brands to know how is your brand getting used on a day-to-day basis, and are there features or are there benefits of your brand that people are now coming to realize that you have not yet marketed. And also identify, are there shortcomings of your competition that you can unmet needs of your competition that you can now take advantage of, things like that. If I may add, I want to talk about an incident that has happened with one of our large customers, a large telecom player, right? It identified as unsatisfied influential customer of its larger competition. What they did is they reached out with a compelling offer, and they won that customer with great customer experience. And in 48 to 72 hours, that influential person is now becoming a brand advocate for the new brand out here. So this kind of a workflow, this kind of a bold approach is only possible when you're listening to your competition round the clock, so that you never know who can be a dissatisfied customer that you can now go reach out and then make them your brand advocates. That can kind of send a lot of ripples in social media to say that there's a this brand is winning over an incumbent brand with superior quality, superior customer support, and things like that. So yeah, that's
Great, great, great. That was some really lovely insights, Vijay and Vishal. I have now a poll, which is coming up for the audiences. You know, can we have the poll up? So do you want to transform your marketing impact? Explore how Locobuzz CX Suite can help you make it happen effortlessly. Take the poll and now reserve your spot for a demo. Vijay, I think, post this, you can share the video also, that we discussed, once this poll gets over. Then I have some very, very interesting questions which have come in from the audiences. They've asked some really very, key points, both for you and Vishal. So let's answer them, once you've shown the video.
sure.
This is very interesting. I mean, like 80% people really want to, have a look at the demo.
Looking forward to meeting all of you over the
Absolutely.
sessions. So let me play this video.
Brilliant one. Brilliant one, Vijay. Yeah, I think let's now get on to some of the questions, that we have from the audiences. So I believe the first question is, how can behavioral science be implemented in CX journeys for a retail banking product? Vishal, Vijay, who would like to take this?
Sure. So what happens is, you're able to understand a persona, and you can use that in how you target. You can use that in how you do notifications. You can use that even on streamlining your marketing communication or email marketing or whatever it is. So it's very important to get that, persona linked with the transactional data in a retail banking you may have, or the, normally how you evaluate somebody is based on the bank account size or the number of relationships or transactions you have with them, right? It adds another layer because, again, retail banking person may have many different bank accounts. So you get a sense to understand this person and get to know a little bit more. A lot of times what happens is, the person may be a group CEO, but not be good with social. So how you interpret them based on their bio can become very different. So it's very empowering for the retail banking guys, especially retail banking guys, to know their customers better.
Interesting. There's another one, since AI and automation is a big part of simplifying and streamlining customer experience processes. So what new kind of job descriptions or skills do you see that marketeers will have to develop in order to keep up with these new changes?
I'll let Vijay talk about what he's doing with ChatGPT, and then, he can touch upon this.
Sure. So yes, AI is changing the game, right? But what we feel is it's here to assist somebody. rather than right, really like shake them. Right. So basically, the newer skills that they would like to build is to strategize better, right? Ability to read insights and use that in terms of how can I now act upon it. Now, the hard work of mining for that is now taken care by AI. The marketers today now need to understand and learn the ways of how do we now action that in terms of thinking of a new campaign. And the execution of a new campaign can also be like powered by GPT, where content creation now becomes super easy, and you can tweak on it. You can like kind of have 5 versions of it and things like that. So those kind of work which used to take a lot of time is now like being kind of very helpful, right? These kind of technologies are being very helpful to marketers, but they always have to now decide what is that right, what is that content that I would like to now put out. That thought process and that kind of a decisioning is still with humans, so we don't have to worry.
Okay, great. And we have now one time for one last question. Could you please elaborate on the correlation between customer experience and revenue, and how a consistent approach to managing customer experience across all channels and departments can aid in increasing revenue, all this while ensuring consumers are delighted? How easily can Locobuzz CX Suite enable this? I think Vishal, you would like to take this?
Sure. So it's always a tricky one, to do a clean attribution of these things. But what we have been able to demonstrate over the years working with clients is that two things happen when you're actively monitoring and listening, right? You get direct revenue opportunities. So one is that people come out with clear-cut intent. I'm looking for a new credit card. I'm looking for a place to stay. I'm looking for my anniversary celebration, whatever it is, right? So this results straight away into revenue attribution and revenue generation from there. Secondly, what we have realized is that if you are able to turn a negative perception into a positive perception, not only do you get to retain the customer, but you get word of mouth. So many times we have seen with our brands where when somebody writes something, people come to the aid before even the brand is there. The customers come there and say, no, that is not true, this is how it happens, or this was my experience was. You will see that especially happening with a lot of travel portals and all, where somebody writes an idea and people come back and say, no, that was not my experience. So I believe having a set of people who are passionate about the brand, recognizing them, engaging with them on a regular manner through platform like ours, can help you really not only retain some of those on the fence customers, but then use this influence or use this user generated positive conversation to get new customers.
Great. I believe we have run out of time, Vishal and Vijay. So we'll have to wrap up the discussion here. But really, some very interesting insights came about how brands are looking at their marketing, and how deploying the CX suite can really open and really decipher the treasure trove of data which is there, from which they can simplify their solutions, simplify their marketing, understand the customer better, create better solutions, and reach out to customers in a much engaging way. So thank you really for sharing those insights with us and the audiences. It was really a pleasure having you here. Thank you Vishal, and
thank you so much,
Vijay.
Devesh. Thanks.
Thank you so
Lovely
much.
interacting with you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye.